Wow, so fun. The the waiting room just constantly filling with people. We've got lots of epic humans pouring in. And we're gonna go ahead and get started here because we have a lot to share with all of you today. So I'm gonna go ahead and get us rolling. Aloha, everybody, and welcome to Unite to Rise. My name is Roxanne Ruby, and this is the first day of our 90-day run. This is a container and a commitment and an opportunity to be able to really take advantage of this amazing business model that we have with Purium Superfoods and the opportunity to literally get paid to help make the world a better place by helping people transform their health and the impact that we have on the environment through the choices that we make day in and day out. So I just want to get everything ordered here. Wow, so many people hopping on. Okay, thank you for all of you for being here on time. You definitely will benefit from being present for this Zoom from start to finish. It's going to be a 90-minute session each week that we gather here. The first hour will be interactive coaching and training. We have an entire collective of amazing leaders that have built something massive from the ground up, and we're all going to be sharing our stories with you here soon. And then the last 30 minutes of these Zooms will be very action oriented. So it'll be an opportunity for you in real time to build your business within the supportive container of this collective. But to start us out, I just wanted to say welcome to everybody. And if you can start to engage in the chat, introduce yourself and let us know where you're tuning in from today so we can just get an idea of where on the map we're covering. And simultaneously, I would love so much to hear from you what it is that you are hoping to learn in this container in the next 90 days. And maybe also go ahead and let me know how long you have been a partner with Purium. I think we have people on here that I know of ranging from just enrolled today to 6 years. It's going on a decade for myself. I just rejoined yesterday. Yes, Rana, amazing. Welcome back. 8 months, 2.5 years. Cool. So the idea here is that we are going to be able to offer tools and resources and strategies that are relevant to you, whether you are starting your business today or whether you have been already a brand partner with Purium for many, many years. And I would also love, again, to just ask the question in the chat, and we record our chat, so we'll be able to follow up on this later. And this is meant to be a collaborative container. So this is a space that we're all creating together. And please, in the chat, let us know what it is that you're wanting to learn, because based on your feedback, we will be structuring our content to make sure that we deliver you what is most supportive and beneficial to you. And so if there's anything that is really coming up for you that you're feeling inspired to dive deeper into, please go ahead, drop that in the chat, and we'll make sure to cover that in our weekly sessions together. Also, of course, like we saw already, these sessions will be recorded, and we'll have them shared in a private format. And after today's session, we will be closing the container and requiring prerequisites to be able to get into this space. And that's something that we'll talk about later. So today is open. If you have any brand partners on your team that aren't here right now, but that you know would be interested in committing to 3 months of building their business, then go ahead and send them the link right now, get them on here. And later on in the Zoom, we'll talk about the prerequisites and the action steps that we're encouraging you to take in order to really immediately get into action with your business. And in that way, also commit yourself to this container of 90 days. Awesome. So, yeah, so excited to be here. We've got 45 people on the line, which is awesome. And I look forward to seeing that number grow over the next few months as we all endeavor to grow our teams, grow our businesses. And without further ado, I would love to just open it up with some story time. And we're going to pass the talking stick around to our leadership panel that we have here today. It's such an exciting collective of women who have really gotten super clear with what their vision is, which is the theme of our call today, and chosen to get into action and make their visions a reality, utilizing this platform of Purium and the business model that we have at our fingertips. Just to share with you a little bit of my story. Again, my name is Roxanne. I've been with this company for almost 10 years now. And I was introduced to Purium actually by Dave Sandoval himself when I was 20 years old, and I was just moving from Kauai, Hawaii to Los Angeles, California. So I was in the midst of a major life transition, and my vision was to go to LA to be a performer and a healer. And I was very much dedicated to being mission driven and to making this world a better place through art and wellness. And I was making it happen on some level, but I was also struggling with a lot of health issues myself. After being diagnosed with PCOS when I was 16 years old and being put on birth control as the solution, kind of band-aid for that, I eventually went off birth control and my hormones went totally wacko. I gained a bunch of weight, got really bad cystic acne, and my monthly cycle went away. And so I was at a time in my life where I wanted to make something meaningful of my life, but I was also going through a very personal battle with my health and simultaneously with my finances, because 20 years old, just moved to LA, like I was living gig to gig and just kind of barely getting by. I was introduced to Dave Sandoval, and he did something which we'll talk about throughout the next few months of care fronting, which was addressing my vulnerability and offering a solution. And he offered me a health solution that very much resonated with my values of pure organic food. And he also mentioned the opportunity of creating an income by sharing this lifestyle with others, which at the time I didn't understand at all. But I chose to spend the last $400 that I had in my bank account on a lifestyle transformation. And I've gotten paid every single Friday since that day. And it has been a game changer. All my symptoms completely were reversed. And through the process of clearing up my skin and losing weight, I became very naturally excited to share this with others. And fast forward to today, that ripple effect of sharing my gift code with people who shared it with others and shared it with others has been over 50,000 people that have transformed their health. And also, I've been able to create a six-figure income. And just this year, got to welcome the birth of my first son into my family after 10 years ago being told I might not ever be able to have children because of that PCOS diagnosis. So Purium has been really a core source of nutrients and nourishment for my life, for my health, for my family now. And also, of course, has been my greatest income earner of all my various projects, because I am a multifaceted entrepreneur. Purium pretty much 10 times every other business that I have ever had annually. So I'm really excited to get to share with you all what I've learned through this journey. And I'm going to go ahead and pass it off to another one of our beautiful leaders to share a little bit about her story and why we're so excited to be here and opening this container with all of you today. So Christina, I would love to pass it to you.
Yeah, thank you, Roxanne. Welcome, everybody. I'm feeling really excited to be here. The energy is palpable. Like, drop a 7 in the comments if you have experienced any form of division or attempts at dividing you from anyone or separation over the past few years, any of that like diluted your connection with people, right? And so we're bringing this theme. Let's unite to rise, because what did that division do? It actually sunk us. It that's the whole strategy, right? Divide and conquer. So we're the antidote to that. We're here to unite to rise. So drop a 10 in the comments if you're excited to unite to rise, because I know I am. It's just everything right now is coming together, and we are better together. We're bigger together. We're stronger together. It's easier together. And I'm so personally excited for what's going to be happening over the next 90 days. So I'm just going to tell you my story really briefly. I always wanted to be a stay-at-home mom, watching my single mom slave away and never have any quality time with her. I just knew like that is not for me. I'm going to be home with my babies. And when I met my husband, we went down a path of homesteading, and we really fell in line with traditional gender roles. Once the babies came, I was doing more of the domestic and the small gardening and cooking, and he was doing like the bigger machinery and going out and being the breadwinner. Well, our dreams were bigger than that single family income, and became really clear that that wasn't going to be enough to hold together everything that we wanted to do, to get ahead, to do it without the stress of, Roxanne's story just made me think of this concept of financial sickness. I was financially sick. I was depleted financially, physically, emotionally, in our relationships. And so I was praying for a solution that would collect us so that we could fortify as a family and strengthen our connection and our resilience and our confidence in walking our path, and then financially support us to do so. And really, the biggest thing that drives me right now is being able to mother and be a wife and guide my family on our terms, that we're not compromising our values because of some extended family opinions or some external societal pressures or old dormant, wounds inside that are telling me some kind of false belief. That with financial empowerment, we are really able to live the life that is in full alignment with our hearts and our values. And that is something that I have witnessed in Purium, where I never even knew that concept existed. Like, I grew up my whole life thinking you have to sacrifice what's most meaningful or some of what's most meaningful in order to survive. And here we get to actually choose what is most meaningful to us, which is often also how we can help others, how we can be of service and live our purpose. And so here we are, we're cultivating our homestead, we're creating abundance and gathering spaces to be overflow for our community, and all the while really connecting deeply with our children. They're only children for so long. And so to have all the time and space that we decide how it's spent is everything. And that's what I've been able to create in my almost 6 years here at Purium, and I'm absolutely thrilled to support other people to do the same, because that's, to me, how we reclaim our planet. So I'm going to pass it over to the next speaker, or maybe Roxanne, you can pass it over. I'm not sure who's next.
Yeah, I can pop in. Thank you so much, Christina and Roxy. I love hearing your stories. My name is Rita Fleming. I'm also a crown in the company, for those of you that I don't know yet. And this community has been really powerful for me. I started a few years ago, and what I was looking for was a way to create a larger impact in the world. I have kind of a wild story of health and regeneration. When I was 19, I was in a near-death car accident and was told I wouldn't get back to normal activities. And so I searched for 10 years trying to find solutions, which led me to regenerative health, which allowed me to get out of chronic pain, but it didn't have there was a missing piece, and that missing piece was soil health. And that's what I found through this community and this platform. And within just a few months of adding these superfoods into my life, it brought me to an athleticism I hadn't been in 15 years. And so that was really powerful for me. And I realized, wow, this platform is what I was looking for to make a larger impact in the world. And something that I'd found, I was hosting retreats, I was doing all of these things that I really enjoyed, but one, I wasn't able to make the impact that I wanted to. I wasn't able to reach as many people as I wanted to. And also, I wasn't able to make the kind of income that I wanted to. So, in all of my other work coming up to this point, including working in regenerative health as a practitioner, I could only help so many people in a day. And, my time wasn't my own. And so in this platform, what it's allowed me to do is collectively as a team, we've been able to help thousands of people to transform their quality of life. But it's also the only thing I've done that's been in complete alignment with my deeper values and my mission. And it's allowed me to, make that impact at a planetary health level in ways that I haven't been able to find with anything else. And then also being able to uplift our community and help other people to rise up is really what we're doing. And what's more beautiful or meaningful or purpose-filled than helping other people to thrive, not only physically and emotionally, but financially. And that financial piece was huge for me. I want to empower everyone in being able to have their quality of life that they want, to be able to be conscious consumers, invest their money in the ways that they want to, and also create that time and location freedom. So that's actually been the most freeing component for me, is not only the beautiful lifestyle and the superfoods, but actually the financial sovereignty piece and being able to pass that off to others. And one of my big missions is to help women create more financial sovereignty, because the level of impact that can make in the world is exponential. And what we can do collectively with more financial freedom in the hands of more women, and men for sure. It's just that this industry happens to have a lot of women in it. But that's one of my visions and missions, is the collective impact that we can all make together by working together. And so being able to up-level my own leadership has allowed me then to go and help other people to up-level their own leadership. So this is very much a business of personal development and personal growth, so that you can then turn around and help your friend do the same thing. And I want to pass it off to Carrie Drinkwine, if you're available to share your story. Thanks everybody for being here.
Yes, thank you so much. Thanks for having me. And I'm actually in Dave Sandoval's office right now, who is the owner of our company. And that just goes to show you what this company is all about. This company is pure heart, pure family, so connected to their mission. And I just love everything about it. So I'll just share a brief part of my story. I know a lot of you have heard my story, but I want to share two components, two parts. And let me know, is my camera working okay as well? My reception is so. Okay.
I didn't see you.
Yeah, I can't really see space.
Oh,
We need to unpin Rita.
Right, sorry. Okay, I'll stop doing that. My bad.
Oh, it's okay.
If you just unpin everybody.
Yep, thanks.
All right, I still see Rita, but that's okay. I'll keep going. So Rita, we're just gonna look at your beautiful face. Okay, so I would say my story is two-part faceted. And the very beginning of Purium was really from a nutritional standpoint. I really didn't see the business side of things. And I share that because I think a lot of people are there. They might be in this survival space. They might not know that their health is off. And I ate incredible. I was all organic. I was on herbs, but I was a postpartum mom that was experiencing depletion. And I thought it was just like, okay, what am I missing, right? What is it that I'm missing that I'm not getting? Why is my hair falling out? Why is my skin elasticity getting worse? And all of that to say was I kind of coughed it up to being a stressed out entrepreneur, right? So Rita could see that I was not only in depletion, but I was in exhaustion in my business model. And so I had a successful clinic business, but that success came at the cost of my family. And that success came at the cost of my own balance, wellness, play, freedom. Like, sure, I made my bills, but I didn't ever have time to play or to exhale or to just be with my kids. And so little did I know what I thought was going to be like, sure, if I like it, I'll put these on my shelves at the clinic, turned into a Crown, almost 2-star Crown organization. We were 99% last month. We were so close. But that organization that is completely transformed my entire life. And the moment in which I really took hold of this business, and I want to share this piece because we all love the idea. There's nobody here that's like, I want to work the rest of my life for someone else and barely make it. Like, that's not real. The only reason people don't excel at this is because they don't feel like they're capable and they don't commit and plug in enough. And so I was guilty of that. I had this width because I had a clinic. I had this reach because I had professional experience in this field, but I really didn't go far enough to get myself out of that clinic. I got real comfortable at Green Diamond, Blue Diamond. I had extra money coming in, and the pandemic hit, and I was like, whoa. My entire rug was ripped out from underneath me when I was deemed non-essential. My clinic was deemed non-essential. I was shut down. My primary income was gone. I was actually with Christina Aman. I was in Hawaii. I was pregnant with Ash, and I had Mila on my hip. I had a 1-year-old with me and a big baby in my belly. And I was like, no way am I losing my maternity leave again. So just a tiny backstory is I have 4 kids, and I have 5 kids when I adopted, but my first 2, I worked constantly, never got a maternity leave. And then with Mila, I had her, we had some life crisis stuff happen, and I lost my maternity leave. And Ash was like the baby. I was like, yeah, I've done it. I built residual income. I'm going on maternity leave. And then that happened. And that shook me to my core. And I was like, I will be damned if I will not have a maternity leave with this baby. And I decided in that moment that I would never be in the position again that the government could shut me down for anything, that I will never again be financially unstable or afraid for my family. And that was the moment that I actually truly plugged into my business, that I was like, I'm going to take this thing seriously. I ranked Blue Diamond on maternity leave right after giving birth because of the work I put in from pandemic hitting month 7 until 9. And then from there, I decided after I had my maternity cocoon that I was going to focus on my business, and what you focus on grows. It really does. And I went out to Mexico, left the clinic, and worked my business, and we doubled my business that month. We went from blue to red and then red to crown. So I want to share that with you because what we have is healing the world. Like, we really are raising vibration. We're feeding people organic superfoods. We are changing the paradigm of organic farming, and we are helping people dream and achieve those dreams. So stay attached to that.
Beautiful, Carrie. Every time I hear your story, I get chills. It's amazing. And I'm really glad you left with the mission. So, my name's Mary Beth Fleming. I'm a 2-star Crown for those of you that don't know me. And the reason I do this work is really because of the mission. And I just want to, for this 90 days, the reason I'm participating as a facilitator and diving into a 90-day run in my business, even though I have a great income, is because this mission is too important. We are in like crazy times right now with our food systems, with our social economic systems, with the way that people do not have access to solutions that are suffering and need the solutions we have. And so I'll just say, many of you know my story too, but I started this business 3.5 years ago, single mom, working 4 jobs, trying tirelessly to bring my husband over from Guinea, West Africa, after we had been separated for 2 years because of immigration. And I was at a point of feeling hopeless with where we are at in the world and what's all the challenges we have coming up in my own personal life. And I recognized that the only person that's going to change that circumstance is myself. And I'm so grateful that Purium fell into my lap to be the vehicle to allow me to do that. And all I can say is during this 90 days, we are going to challenge you. We are going to test you. We are going to invite you to really get deep with this mission that we are on, because it's too important of a mission to not share what we have. For all the mamas that want to stay home with their kids, for all the families that need to reunite, for all the people that are working tirelessly at jobs they don't like and, you know, losing their passion and their purpose. So during this incubator, you know, my biggest piece of advice is that just get really connected to your why and why you're here, whether it's for a personal reason. When I started this business, it was very personal. I started this business to bring my husband over and unite my family, right? But it's grown into this huge mission of to really offer solutions for people who are in dire need of it. And so during this 90 days, you know, things might come up. You might feel self-doubt. You might feel judgment. You might feel criticism. You might get these objections of, oh, you do network marketing. Who knows what's going to come your way? But all I can say is the closer you get to understanding the mission that we're on and how big this is, you'll feel it in your body that this mission is too big to let anything get in the way. And if you want to be a six-figure earner in this company, which is very, very, very possible, you've got to put the mission on your heart first, and then allow for this team, this amazing community to uplift you in speaking and sharing and standing in your truth. And that is what is going to get you to the point where you are fully thriving in this industry, like we all are that are co-facilitating this. So that's what I wanted to share. And now I'm going to pass it off to, I think, Christina, who's going to share a little bit more.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Mary Beth. So I was over here filming Mary Beth speaking, and I want to encourage you all to take sound bites from this call today. Like, you don't know exactly what the speaker is going to say, so, you know, take some raw material, save it, go back and do what you want with it. But what we're doing here is creating momentum. We're like the winds on the ocean, just stirring up till we can get a huge swell. And we're doing that together. And part of it is what we're doing here, incubating. We're in here and we're stoking each other out, and we're inspiring each other, and we're seeing each other as capable, and we're reminding each other of what's most meaningful inside of our hearts, and we're reminding ourselves of what incredible people we are and what we're really here to do on this planet. And we're going to face that outwards too, and we're going to share it with people. So a big part of what we're going to be doing, and we're all getting widen your reach points this month, so every day sharing something meaningful with your audience. And what we're doing here is really igniting everything that we stand for. So I just encourage you to do that and tag all the people that can then repost it and share it. And we can really create a tidal wave of exposure for people to be magnetized. They might not even understand what is that thing they're doing over there. What is that Unite to Rise? But they're going to feel it. Why? Because you're feeling something. And if you feel it and you can express that, that's how other people feel that. So go ahead and get excited about sharing. Okay, so I'm going to keep this really brief. First of all, drop an 8 in the comments if you had to jump through hurdles to be here today, if you got your application in. And I know not everybody, maybe the majority of people haven't, but I just want to recognize the people who did it. And I will admit, I tend to procrastinate and leave things to the end. I was up till ridiculous hours of the night getting mine in, right? I held myself, I couldn't come to this call not having done it by midnight, right? Well, it wasn't quite by midnight, but just over. And yes, we have leniency and we're inviting everyone to this call, but I just want to recognize the people who did that. Why? Because it did something to me. It wasn't just paperwork. It activated something in me. It reminded me of why I'm here. It reminded me of how much possibility exists. And if we don't have that belief in what's possible and we don't have that burning why, this business can get really annoying or drag on or burn us out. And so we're here to be the antidote to that, to just keep stoking that fire and keeping it so lit and alive that we don't get into that place. And then it flows and it feels good and it's joyful and juicy and delightful and of service, and people are grateful, and we just want to stay in that place. So drop a 9 if you love those feelings and you want to stay in that feeling. And just remember, it's getting into that action and leaning into that discomfort. Like I woke up after I put my children to sleep and I had already been asleep, and I was like, I'm committed. I'm doing this. I'm doing my application. And I'm so glad I did. So really briefly, before I pass it off to the next speaker, our why is everything. And I'm not going to go deeply into the why today. We're going to get deeper into that on a future call. But what I want to encourage you to do is, if you don't already have a pen and paper, if you're not driving and you can take notes, go ahead and if you can close your eyes right now and imagine for a moment that it is September 7th, 2023. And you're looking back on the last year of your life, and everything worked out exactly how you would have wanted it to. Like everything worked out. You're stoked. It feels so good to look back and notice all the areas of your life that got right to where you want them to be. And so go ahead and write those areas down. Just what's alive for you in this moment of like, wow, you mean I get to imagine that worked out? That house got bought, that car got paid for, that educational opportunity opened up for me, that travel that I've wanted to do happened, that relationship came into my life, that increase in income happened, that, reconciliation with that person in my life, that time that I spent with my family. Like, you fill in the blanks for you, what that actually looks like. And if you want to, type it in the chat, share with us like especially if it's a detail that you hadn't thought of before and you're like, oh, I had no idea I was even dreaming of that. But now that my whole life worked out, it's clear to me. So this is an exercise, an activity that we're going to be doing on a regular basis. This is literally the formula to create the success that you've been hearing people talk about, is to get into that place of imagining your life working out exactly how you want it to, and feeling the feelings of what that feels like in your body, and experiencing those feelings. Even though it hasn't happened yet, you literally practice feeling what it will be like to be driving that car that you haven't had, that's reliable, and you don't ever have to worry about trips to the mechanic and holding you back. And that, all the different ways that it's removing stress from your life, or heartache, or hopelessness, or anything. So anybody who wants to put in the chat, just throw it in throughout this call. And if you have already put your intentions for this incubator in the chat and you haven't written it down personally, I encourage you to write that down personally as well. So I'm going to pass it over to Rachel, who's going to go a little bit deeper with this part of our journey.
Thank you, Christina. Thanks, all of you. Wow, this is such an inspiring call. Oh my gosh. So I wanted to talk a little bit about vision and why this is such an important part to start with when you are just beginning the business. This is incredibly crucial, and we are going to go into breakout rooms for 10 minutes in just a few. So I'll be talking for about 5 minutes. And I just wanted to say that one of the most important things you can do is, when you are onboarding somebody or you have a brand partner who is interested in the business, when you're qualifying them, is to find out what their vision is to help them dive into what is in their heart. Why do they want to do this business? Why is it that they are deciding to do Purium? What is it that in their life that they want to create? And help them think about the future and really move into that future. And the reason this is the most important thing is because if we are just totally income driven, we will burn out and we'll get bored. Okay, that's why we are spending so much time talking about the mission as well, right? And the truth is that how many of you actually have had a new brand partner and you told them to do something and they didn't do it? How many of you have been like, okay, here's the thing, do the thing, and now do it, run, go, do your Widen Your Reach, go live on Facebook, do all these things, and they're just like, and I was just like, not interested. Oh, sorry, I have the dog in the car. So this happens. It happens all the time. And here's one of the reasons why, is because you haven't engaged their purpose and their reason and their interest in doing the business, because they don't actually have a reason yet. If you tell a person to take action and you haven't actually engaged their vision and asked them what is important to them in their life, you are not connecting the action steps with what it is that drives that person. So I always, with my team, say, don't enroll a person until we have actually had a three-way call. We've actually had a conversation. We've talked about what their vision is. We've talked about why they want to do this business, so that they have a clear yes. It's too easy to do this business. It is too easy to just buy a pack and suddenly have a business and go, oh, yeah, I have a business. Like, I can do it or not do it. So we have to get more skin in the game, which is our future. We have to get more purpose on board. We have to help people really get excited about, wow, what is this on my, I just like got this, I'm going to become a brand. $329.
Rachel, did we lose you? I think we might have lost her.
You know what? It might be perfect to transition it to Carrie.
Perfect. I think we want to do breakout rooms before we go to Carrie, though.
Well, Rachel was going to lead the breakout room, so maybe
Okay.
Carrie, and then
Maybe go bounce to
Wait a
Carrie
minute.
and then we'll come
Oh,
back to
now
Rachel.
on-
Oh, she's back.
you froze for a minute.
Is there a problem here?
You froze.
Just a short problem. You froze,
Okay,
but you're back now.
Okay, good. So I've created a series of questions. I've put it in my boards app. I'm going to put it in the chat. You're all welcome to put it in your boards app. But I always ask these questions right when I meet somebody, and it's usually within 24 to 48 hours of meeting them. It's really important that we set up this three-way call, a connect call, either right when they're signing up or within 24 to 48 hours, because they will not do widen your reach. They will not do the launch calls. They will not do all of these things unless they have a reason. And so here's the reason. So I'm going to go ahead and actually just paste this questionnaire into the chat so you can kind of see. Did that work? Oh, it didn't. Okay, so the chat is limited. So it's limited on how much it'll actually let me post. But I'm going to go ahead and ask these questions so you can see, like, this is typically what I ask on a call. So now give me a second to set myself up here so I can actually like see you guys and ask the questions at the same time. Okay. So, and I want you to, in the breakout rooms, actually ask each other these questions. So it's on the boards app under vision if you're on my team, it's under vision. And then if you're on another person's team, you can actually, hopefully you guys have it on your boards app. If not, we'll do our best to put them in the question into the chat. But these are the questions that I always ask. Now, I always want to start with rapport and make sure that there's been a good introduction with edification to break the ice, right? You want to introduce the people on the call and make sure that there's like a good feeling and that we're all now like, oh, okay, now I know what you're about and I'm going to ask you more about yourself. So after I ask this person about themselves and I get to know them a little bit better, I begin to ask these questions and I let them know, I say, you know, one of my favorite parts about this business is the vision call. This is one of my favorite parts about the training because we get a chance to dream. You know, we do these vision calls for everyone when they first get started. And so this is going to be for you to think about what is important to you. So you want to let them know why they're doing the vision call, what we're getting into, what this is about. And then they understand why you're going to start asking them these very personal questions. Okay, because it can get pretty personal, right? So the first thing I ask is I say, you know, what is the bigger picture for you? If sky was the limit, I want you all to think, I want you to let me ask you these questions right now. And as a collective, you can ask these questions of yourself. Okay, so what is the bigger picture for you? All of you on this call. And if sky was the limit and you won the lotto or you came into a giant windfall or inheritance, or if I could wave the magic wand over your life, right? These are all different ways to language it. What would you create? So think about what it is you would create. And then I would validate them. I would say, okay, yes, I hear this, I hear this, I hear this. So what would that give you to create that? You know, is it you know, land to live on? Is it you know, college fund for your kids? Is it I would build a nonprofit? Is it, you know, I would retire my husband? Is it I would just pay off my credit cards? All right, that was the first thing I did, is I paid off my credit cards. That was like the most satisfying thing. So maybe it's just like I'll pay off my debt, right? So you just want to acknowledge the person and acknowledge them back. So when you're in the breakout rooms asking these questions, you're also going to validate them. You're going to reflective listen. You're going to say, this is what I heard you say, so that they're seen. So, and then I ask, after we've kind of delved into all the different things that their life is, and I say, what would that give you? Well, what would that give you? And so we want to get to the place where they're like sharing, you know, it would give me happiness. They get to the place where they're like feeling the happiness, they're seeing the vision, they're feeling alive, you know, and then there's like some emotion there. Now, you know, like, okay, we've like got to this place where they're like really plugged in, they're connecting to their vision for their life. They're here for a reason. It's not just Purium, it's not just income. It's like I'm creating whatever it is that I need in my life that's going to bring me like satisfaction and freedom and happiness and joy. Okay. And then I ask the question, what would you be earning to make this all possible? How much would you have coming into your bank monthly or annually for this to become true for your life? So now we're connecting it to what's going to make this real. So first, it's sky's the limit, and then, okay, what is going to actually fund that? So I'm asking you guys that question. What would you need to earn to make this all possible? You can like type in the chat, like, what would you want to be earning in order to have this life of freedom and all these things that are important to you personally? What are your goals and what do you need to get there? And so now I want you to imagine that income floating into your bank and showing up monthly. I want you to really see that. I want you to feel that in your nervous system. What does that feel like? Whether it's $500 a month or $5,000 a month, whatever you chose, you know, like how is that going to impact you? What does that do for you into your nervous system? And then bring it back. Like, would that allow you to do all the things that you just mentioned that are important to you? And then how much time would it take you? How much time would you like to be, and how much time would you like to be earning that amount? Like, in how much time would you like to be earning that amount that you said, whether it's 500, 5,000, 10,000, some people say a lot more. How much time would you like to be earning that? And so I often at this point, once they see what it is that, once you see what it is that you're liking, when you see what it is that you feels like the amount that you want to be earning, as I usually have the person who's brought you to the call actually send you the business income disclosure statement so that they can see, wow, okay, so here's an amount and there's actually a rank that goes with that. So they can see that there's like a tangible place in the company that offers whatever it is, that whichever income bracket that they're looking for. All right, so I'm looking at things. So we've got like 6 months, 100, someone said 100 plus years, 100,000 a month, 20,000 a month within a year, 1.5 years this month. All right, awesome. Okay, good. So the income disclosure statement is in the Purium app, in the Purium boards, and you can also put it in your team boards. Okay, so what is that goal? What is that rank? What is that rank that corresponds to the amount of money that you want to be earning? I lost my notes. So this is where we're going with it. See, so this is the line of questioning. And then now I can tell them, okay, how many hours a week do you have for that? Do you have like 5 hours a week? Do you have 10 hours a week? Do you have 15 hours a week? How many hours a week Can you possibly, do you feel able to commit? So now a person is more willing to give me amount of time, right? Because it's like, now I've seen it's tangible. This is where I'm trying to get to. This is what it's going to take. So now I need to think about how much time now it's more reasonable to think about amount of time. Now, if I had not done this whole process, asking someone to spend 10 to 15 hours in their business or 20 hours or more is going to be like, who wants to do that? I just spent $300 to become a brand partner. So what, So now you've like connected the dots, right? Now it's like, okay, see, now you're like, okay, or $500,000 a month. Yeah, okay. I want to spend, I'm going to do 35 hours a week, 2 hours in a day. Okay, I'm seeing different things. Some people are actually private messaging me by accident, but I'm seeing what you're saying. Okay, so now you're connecting it to their vision. You're connecting it to your own vision, right? You're seeing like, okay, now I want to spend a certain amount of time in my business. And now it feels really exciting to do a widen your reach post. Maybe now it feels exciting to do a launch. Now I'm willing to do those things that my upline shared with me because I can see a tangible result. I can see where I'm getting to. Now we're going to say, look, we're going to start with some baby steps. We're going to get you there and we're going to get you there. And then you can tell them that's not really reasonable. Like for 15 hours a week, yes, you can get to green diamond. 10 hours a week, yes, you can get to green diamond. Yes, there are certain things. And so, you're helping them see that things are step by step. But the first thing we're going to do is we're going to just move you through what we call the fast start. And there are all these wonderful bonuses so you can be making money right away. And all you need to do is this. And so it's like the widen your reach, right? Doing your widen your reach, doing your daily posts, doing, and then if you have blocks around that, you just get with your upline and they're going to walk you through those blocks because we all have blocks. Right. And then now somebody's way more willing to also do a launch call, which we try to do in the first 5 to 10 days. Okay. So I'm looking at the time. I'm realizing we need to jump over. Do we have time for breakout rooms? I think Carrie said that she could push out 5 more minutes. So we could maybe
time for breakout. So straight over to Carrie and we'll break out next time.
Okay, cool. So we'll break out next time, but now you have this seated. And so next time we can go straight into breakout rooms where you can actually practice asking each other these questions. So I hope that was helpful. Remember, vision before action. Don't tell your people to do things without actually helping reflect and engage with them and get to know what is important to them first. Thank you.
And I would love to just plant the seed, since we're talking about vision, that on next week's Zoom, when we do breakout rooms, we're going to share our visions. And so take this next week to really have some time to contemplate that idea that Christina and Rachel have invited us into of what does your life look like a year from now? What's different? What's more grounded, expanded? How do you feel? How do you wake up in the morning? Where do you live? Like, go into detail with your vision so that we can share those details with each other on next week's call. And with that, over to you, Carrie.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I don't know, can you guys see me now? Okay. And with that said, I wanted to just segue. One of my favorite quotes is actually by Helen Keller. And she was asked, what do you think is worse than being blind? And she said, having sight with no vision. And I think that is so deep and profound that we can take for granted all of the amazing gifts and skills that we have and let self-doubt and lack of connection to this bigger vision completely stop us in our tracks or not even allow us to dream or expand. And so you might think like, oh yeah, vision this, vision that, but like literally it is the thing that is going to help you move. Like, what's the point of having 100K a month in your bank if you don't know what to do with it? Like, it's just sitting in the bank where people are trading your money around, making money off of you, right? So you have to have that really clear, connected vision. And so, Rachel, that was so potent. Thank you. And I just want to come on briefly because I know we have a time thing and I actually have to jump. But I want to talk about really the biggest obstacles that come up in business. So let's say we talk about this beautiful mission, right? We talk about the quality of our superfoods, how we're changing the planetary health, we're changing personal health, we're contributing to regenerative agriculture, organic local farms, taking the money out of the hands of the billionaires, putting it back in the hands of like you and me and moms and average people. And people are like, yes, 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 to all that, right? You have this partner, they're fired up and you think they're just going to be dynamite and then nothing happens. Drop a 1 in the comments if you've experienced that. I'm going to drop like 12 ones in the comments because so many times, right? You're like, oh my God, this person was like fire. They were like so passionate about this and then they did nothing and I don't get it. And this is where we need to bridge this gap. This is where, you know, everybody gets this like moment of inspiration. Every single one of you are sitting in this room because of that internal yes you got to what we're doing and what we're aligned here to do together. And that's why I love that we're all coming together cross teams, like Roxanne's on our team, like we're all, if Rachel's not on my team, we're all cross team coming together for this greater mission as a whole to give you this download. So I hope you guys can really drop into that receiving. And, you know, everything is emotion. Every decision that's ever made is based off of emotion. When you have trouble deciding something, it's because logic and emotion are in a war, right? And so this business is about really getting to know you and getting to know you first, and like, okay, go back to that space of like, what gave me that yes? There was a little voice, there was a little something that was like, this could be it, this could be my freedom, I'm really excited about this mission. And then all those warm butterflies go away and you have this business and you're overwhelmed with the onboarding process and you're paralyzed and you do nothing, right? That's why vision is so important. Your job as a partner is to connect every single person to their vision. Help them dream if they don't know how. Dream a little bit. It's like, okay, what would it be like to buy whatever you want in the grocery store and not check your bank account? I remember grocery shopping not that long ago, like 3-4 years ago, and checking my bank account while I'm in the store to figure out how much I can actually spend and what I needed to put back. And in 3 years, that isn't my reality. And you know why? Because of vision. I have never, even when I'm like tired and frustrated, I don't let go of that vision. So that was beautiful, Rachel. And I think just really take Rachel's information that she just shared with us and take this time to brainstorm and to really drop in. Now I'm going to segue into part 2, which is serving, not selling. And so the first thing, drop a 2 in the comments if you've heard over and over and over, but I'm not good at selling, or I don't like selling. I feel like every single person is, I'm not in sales, I don't like selling. Okay, well, first of all, guess what? We're a consumer nation. People love to buy. So people are buying everywhere. And if there were no stores, people would freak out. So you have to remember, like, when there's lack, that's when people go crazy, right? Look at the pandemic. People went psycho and like hoarded resources because they're, you know, we're consuming so much. We are a consumer nation. So you got to get your head around that we're selling because everybody buys, including yourself. You consume things all the time. So that's number 1. And number 2, my first response to that is, do you like helping people? Do you like serving? Right? And they'll say, well, yeah. Okay, well, then you're going to be amazing at this business because salespeople are really bad at this business. You are going to be really, really bad at this business if you're a spammy salesperson. You're going to be really, really good at this business if you have a heart and you like to help people. So we have to come from that service place. Are you service oriented? Are you listening to the person that's in front of you? So I usually, if somebody kind of maybe feels like they're not actually getting to there in their mind, we're like, yeah, I like to help them. Like, tell me this. If you saw somebody that's kid was suffering, they had chronic constipation, they had like, I give some examples, like, and they're going to all these medical doctors and like, you know, you had the solution, would you help them? And they're like, yeah, of course. I would tell them whatever I knew. That's all we're doing here. That is literally it. Stop making it overcomplicated. We are serving. We are helping people find what they've already been looking for. And when you have this transfer, it's not a sale at all. It's like when can I get that link from you? I'm trying to solve my problem that I have. Right. And so when this is the point of serving the person in front of you comes down to, are you listening to them or are you focused on ULT, UBT? ULT and UBT will come through front forward service. I gave an example to my team last week. I could have hit UBT, but the third one, she was not ready for a ULT. And so I put her on an EpiKids shake and a cherry juice instead. I wasn't so focused on that UBT that I couldn't serve the person in front of me. So when you come from that service orientation, your business will become easeful. It will turn into, oh my gosh, look at all of the people I'm helping get well. It will come from, I'm an expert listener, right? What I'm hearing you share is blank, right? What I heard you say was blank. And I'm curious if you're open to listening to a solution that I've helped others find. You know, whatever the language is. So you have to be serving, not selling. That's how you bridge the gap. And so when you can get your brain around that, then we've got the customer side down, right? Now let's bring that into the partner side. The partnership side is also a service. Rita saw a service. I was like, my hair is falling out, right? Like people, when they're in crisis mode, are focused inward. They're focused on like, how do I get out of where I am? Because they're not in balance, right? So we have to help them get in balance. And then Rita could see from the outside that I didn't have balance in my business life. She's like, yeah, you might have like 9 million clients and make 6 figures, but like, you're not well, girl. You know, like whether she said that or not, she held space for me. And so there was a service here where I was getting my nutrition and I was being literally handheld the solution to my problem in my business. And she held space for me to figure that out myself. She wasn't like, go sell it to everybody. Like she held space for me to grow. And if I would have been pressed, I would have left. So I want to encourage the importance of widen your reach, UBT, all great, fast start, all great, but also don't do it at the expense of losing the person in front of you. Are you serving the person in front of you? Because that can get a very rush, poverty consciousness energy, right? You have somebody that's super excited and then they don't want to run and they're like, these people are crazy, I'm leaving. Right. So this is why, and I'm not saying fast start is bad. It's amazing. And there's people that rock fast start. I rocked fast start, Carrie rocked fast, you know, like there's so many people that like, this is what gets them in the business. But also there's people that have ignited here that have not been fast and that have stayed around because they weren't pressed and are just growing more authentically. So that is more of the service piece. I don't want to take up too much time. So the service is, we are serving our people to see what the need is. Where do they need to fill in the gaps? Are they stressed about groceries? Can they not travel? Does their husband work 7 days a week and they don't have a relationship? Get into those stories and then help them see how their personal problem and their personal goals are aligned with our company's mission and that we have a solution here. And when you can help them grasp that and see that, that's why this story packaging is so important. When you can help them grasp that, then they understand why this is a total no-brainer. And it's like, yeah, of course I'm going to do the business. Why wouldn't I share this and help myself and help other people? So helping them package that business story on day one is important, because then people get dropped into the business and they say, now what? Now what do I do? What's next? Well, share your story. And I just helped you package it. I'm going to write it out for you and I'm going to help you talk through it. So I don't want to take up any more time. I think I'm out of time. So I want to pass the mic back. There's more of this download coming. There's more training coming. So I hope to see you guys next week. And I'm going to pass the mic. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Carrie. That's so potent and powerful, leading from that place of service and finding, what your why is, what's important to you, what are you serving, and then how can you serve the people in front of you? So such golden tips, and it all does come back to your story and your why, and leading from how can I be of service to each person. So thank you. That's beautiful. And I'm going to be dropping into a little bit of action today. So how can we take this inspiration, this passion, these deeper whys, how can I be of service, and bring it into action? And I'm curious if any of you got to do the mini marathon or participated in it. Just go ahead and put a 1 in the comment. Awesome. Lots of people. And, also put in the comments, what did you get out of it? How did it impact you? And I can say that going into a mini marathon can be a little bit scary. It can be outside of our comfort zones. And I'm seeing Laura saying she loved how many people she can reach, and this is what it showed her. And for me too, you know, getting into the mini marathon, it's just making that commitment and doing it. And I love something that Laura shared on one of our calls. She was saying, you know, it's showing respect to yourself, to your community, and to your business when you're showing up, when you're making that time slot to show up for your business, to show up for that larger vision that you're working for, to show up for that passion. And I have a quote that really inspires me. And the greater your self-worth, the more of your potential that you will allow yourself to access. So what amount of infinity am I going to access today? So we all have so much potential, every single one of us. You know, every single one of us can be crowned if we choose to show up for our vision, show up in service, and also make the time to do the thing. So that mini marathon for me was really inspiring. I'm seeing a lot of the takeaways that people got in here. But one thing that happens is when you get into action, it's all about that personal development that's happening, that fear that you're overcoming, the person that you are becoming or stepping into. And one thing that's really powerful, you know, in like these mini marathons and such, is that mindset piece. So before even going in and reaching out for a conversation, one, tapping in with your why, and two, asking, why did I think of this person? Why did they come to my heart? Why did they come to my mind? How can I be of service to them? What's going through in their life? What's going on in their world? Is this a potential solution? So leading with that inquiry, and, you know, also going in with this positive attitude. They're going to like me, they're going to like what I have to say, and they're going to make the best decision for them, the best decision for them. So you're taking that expectation off and you're going back to that service. So getting into mindset before you get into action is so huge. And the way that we do one thing is the way that we do everything. And so something that's been really crucial to my own success is self-care, you know, showing up, taking care of my body, taking care of my mind, taking care of my health, taking care of my relationships, and all of that overflows into my business. So creating that lifestyle balance is really important. So in my daily method of operation, I start with 5 minutes of getting into that gratitude, into that positive mindset, that success mindset. Then I'll move into 30 minutes of doing voice messages and calls, just, you know, sharing from a place of authenticity. Like, why did I think of this person? Why do I want to connect with them? You know, and on this last mini marathon, I was reaching out a lot because we're hosting this 30, 60, 90-day container. And I also wanted to let people know that that was happening because I thought of them and it would be, I think it would be a really good fit for them. So I would just share these simple things. And in that, you know, I have 5 new people that are joining in our transformation who were praying for these solutions and looking for it. And I'm also in tons of business conversations with people that have similar vision, similar mission, but they're not able to make that impact that they want to. Same as why I joined this business. So it's amazing the conversations that you can have and the connections that you can make and the people that come into your life that you wouldn't have ever met otherwise. And, you know, Carrie Drinkwine, we knew each other. We were in the same kind of profession, but through this business, we've become family. We've gotten so much closer. We've developed these amazing relationships, and we're helping each other in each other's dreams and vision. So, you know, think of the quality of the kinds of people that you want to work with. What are the qualities and the characteristics? Who do you want to surround yourself with? You know, we are the success of the 5 people that we hang around the most of our time with. So what kind of environment do you want to be hanging out in? And start, you know, connecting and building those authentic relationships with those quality and kinds of people that you want to connect with. So I'll get 5 minutes into my mindset, 30 minutes into reaching out, 30 minutes into following up, and then 15 minutes into customer care, because our customers are our greatest referral source. You know, Leslie Zann, 70% of her business was based off of referrals, and that's because she gave really good customer care. And so one customer, if you give them great customer care, even if you don't know a ton of people, that one customer can turn into 10 customers from referrals, just by simply asking, like, who else do you know that would love to get these same results? Or who else do you know that would love to do this with you? So that's a way where you can exponentially grow your reach. Maybe you have 10 people that you're close with. Maybe you have 10 customers. Those 10 customers can turn into 100 by giving that care and that authenticity and that love. So that's the other thing I do. And then I do 10 minutes of social media. And before I do a social media, if I'm doing a post, for instance, on just an example, say postpartum depletion, and sharing a story around that, for a few minutes before posting, I'm going to look up that hashtag postpartum depletion, and I'm going to start to comment and engage in other people's profiles on social media who are also talking about this. And that just wakes up the algorithms. And Gary Vee always says it's not about what you take, it's about what you give. So give, ask. give, ask. And so when you're giving comments, you're adding your 2 cents on different subjects or topics in which you're going to be engaging in or posting about. You're building a relationship, you're building a community. And that's all that we are building, and is connection and community. And so see if you can find pages that are already speaking about what you're passionate about, and start building those relationships and that connection. And then you can post, and you're going to get so much more engagement around that conversation and that topic. So that's a simple daily method of operation. And one thing that has really transformed my business is doing a daily RPM, which I learned from business coaching with Tony Robbins, and he has over 105 different businesses. And the one thing he does every single day is RPM, because that connects him to his purpose and his why and the actions for that day. So it's really simple. I'm going to just walk through it in 1 minute. But R stands for result. What is the result or outcome you want to create today, this week, this month, this year? Get really, really clear. Is it, I want to help 5 people create 6-figure incomes? What is it? Get really clear. And then why do you want to see this result? Imagine that it's already done. It's complete. I've helped 6 individuals create 6-figure incomes. How has that impacted their family? How has that impacted their lives? Who have you become in that process of helping people to create more financial freedom? Who have you become? And then, just how do you feel that you created that outcome and that impact? And now just come up with the massive action plan. What are 3 to 5 steps I'm going to take today to make that a reality? You can bring it down to a smaller goal. I'm going to help 3 people in their health this week. What are 3 to 5 action steps that I'm going to take today to make this a reality? And then put those action steps in your calendar for that day or for that week. You got to block off your calendar and make time for it, because it's not real until it's scheduled. So that's it. It's really simple. 1, we're just opening up conversations. 2, we're following up with all the conversations that we have. It takes 7 to 10 touch-ins and exposures and conversations before anyone's ready to make a decision. So those follow-ups are huge. With Carrie, I think I followed up like 15 times before we got to actually get on a phone call, because she was so busy. So people are busy. They really love and appreciate when you take the time and care and consideration to be like, hey, just checking on you. I was thinking of you. Hey, I know you wanted to start your transformation. Let me know a good time and we'll get started. Or I'm free this time, and let's get started. So committing to this time for your business and for your growth, and just think about, for those of you that do the mini marathon, like some of your fears going into it and some of the outcomes that you had on the other side. And oftentimes we don't see our results of our actions for 30, 60, or 90 days, but it's about developing and building that momentum. And the mini marathon model is my favorite. Like, I want to do a personal weekly mini marathon for myself, for my business, because it opens up so many conversations. I'm able to impact so many more lives. And that momentum is fun. It's contagious. It's powerful. And then you're not coming from this place of scarcity. You're coming from this place of massive abundance, where UBTs are happening naturally because you're in so much inspired action. So that's all I have to share on that. And I have a little document I'm going to put in the chat on just my daily method of operation. There's a little video that you can go through and help you get into that massive action.
Beautiful, Rita. There was like so much in there. I'm so glad you have a document. So we have some homework, y'all, until next week when we meet you guys again. First, it's getting crystal clear on your vision. And then in that process, helping your teammates do the same. The second thing is to also journal on, what is the service that you're bringing into this? Why are you doing this? More than just the money, more than just, looking good or whatever it is. What is the service you're bringing forth? Third thing is we are going to have a daily method of operation every single day for the 90 days. Rita just laid it out for us. We'll have it in the Telegram feed. Once you submit your application, you'll be in the Telegram feed. We'll be communicating. Fourth thing we're going to do, we're going to find an accountability buddy, because drop a 2 in the chat if you are like, I have to have accountability. If I leave it up to myself, sometimes it doesn't happen, right? So this is going to be a very, very important piece of this container. And so like Rita said, we are as successful as the 5 people we surround ourselves with. So I'm going to give you a little bit of a download of what makes a good accountability buddy, what it means to be a good accountability buddy, so that we can actually utilize this to its max. And then by the end of this call, you can actually go ahead right now and type the rank that you are going for. So if you're trying to go for Green Diamond or you're trying to go for executive, go ahead and write that in the chat. And you're going to pair up with someone. They might be cross team. They might be your upline. They might be a downline that is going for that same rank for you. And you're going to have a little bit of a qualifying conversation with each other before you commit to this accountability. So number 1, what makes a good accountability buddy is someone who's going for the same goal as you, right? So you guys have similar action steps, you have similar motives. So find an equal or above rank. 2, you're going to do a morning check-in. And the way that I like to do it with my accountability buddy is, because our weeks start on Saturday, we finish UBT and Widen Your Reach on Fridays. Our new week is on Saturday. Every Saturday morning, you are going to write to your accountability buddy, hey, these are my goals for this week. I'm going to enroll, I'm going to hit UBT. I'm going to enroll a brand partner, blah, 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 blah. You are going to write down your goals. And then in that, you are going to tell your accountability buddy, these are the things I'm going to do to achieve those. Daily RPM, like Rita talked about, waking up and doing 50 voice messages a day, whatever it is that you feel like you can do to achieve the goal at hand. And then every single day, you're going to text your accountability buddy and you're going to say, hey, here's on the list what I've checked off. This is what I've done. Hey, here's where I fell short. And this is not a good accountability buddy keeps you like on track. It's not an opportunity to be like, oh, well, I was going to do it. And then this happened and this happened. And you can do that if you want, but it's going to be less effective. And the biggest gift you can give to your accountability buddy is to hold them accountable to their goals. So, oh, you weren't able to do that. How come? Asking, getting curious. And if they start to say, oh, I had all these excuses, blah, 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 you can be a good accountability buddy and say, hey, you know what? Well, do you have 10 minutes before you go to bed where you could finish that so that you can get to the goal that you want this week? Because I believe in you, right? So your accountability buddy is someone who holds you capable, who is able to overlook the emotion, overlook the circumstances that might be happening. One of my most favorite quotes with Tony Robbins is, "We are the creators of our lives, not the manager of our circumstances." So things are going to happen, things are going to get in the way. But if we want to create this vision we're going for, we're going to have to just trudge on through. And that requires flexibility, that requires accountability, that requires holding ourselves accountable, and then having someone to do that and be the mirror for us. So you're going to check in once a week with what your goals are, what your actions are. You're going to just do a brief, quick text at the end of each day. Here's what I've accomplished. Here's where I fell short. It doesn't have to be like this whole back and forth. It can just be these quick accountabilities. Now, what doesn't make a good accountability buddy is someone that you're just complaining to or bickering about, like, bickering about teammates with or any of that. So your accountability buddy, this is why we encourage you to pick someone random in the chat so that you don't have that inclination to kind of go into all that stuff, right? Because that's not really going to keep you on track of your goal. That's just going to keep you in that emotional state and those limiting beliefs that are holding you back from achieving what you want to achieve. So if you or your accountability buddy start to get into that zone of like talking about teammates or complaining about this, that, or the other, you might want to find a different accountability buddy that's going to be able to hash through that stuff. So drop a 2 if this is all making sense. And then the other thing that makes a good accountability buddy is staying curious with your accountability partner. So if you have your accountability partner come at you saying something that's like, yeah, I just couldn't get to it today because of this and this, reminding them, hey, you know what? I totally feel you. I hear you. And I remember when you told me about that piece of your why, blah, 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 blah. Reminding your people why we are here, what the services that we're bringing forth, connecting our accountability buddy back to their vision anytime you start to feel or see a deterrent in their path. Maybe they don't check up with you at the end of the day. Hey, what happened? Remember, we're going to buy you that car at the end of this month or whatever it is, right? So you're going to find an accountability buddy. We can be working on this. If you don't find one this week, we can always find one next week. But again, if you don't have one, drop the rank you're going for, reach out to that person. If you don't know them, you can, find the upline whose they are and reach out to them and get connected. We will also have the opportunity to find accountability buddies in the Telegram feed. So you really want to submit and do the application so that you can be part of the Telegram feed and really get the most out of this group. So that's my 4th piece, having an accountability buddy. Roxy, I'm going to pass it back to you to go over the application again so that you can all join us for the full 90 days.
Amazing, darling. And could you put in the chat, just because that was so succinct in the beginning, you said like the main action steps for this week, starting with the vision and ending with the accountability buddy. We've got the prerequisites. And I will go ahead and share my screen. Oh, can you make me the host again, please, Christina? Awesome, thanks. When you have a second, just do that. So yeah, I want to talk about the prerequisites, and go ahead and drop a 1 in the chat if you've done the prerequisites, if you went through the process and completed the steps to enter into this container. And I just want to speak a little bit about my own personal process with this. I've done a similar thing for many years in my business, joining the support containers of this 90-day run format and having prerequisites to fulfill before doing so. And I'll just pull up here in a moment the list of our prerequisites for this. And I just wanted to say that, again, I've been doing this business for a while now. And even with that, I personally came up against some of my own challenges of like, wow, one thing that we asked for is a list of 100 people. And I did 30 pretty easily. It took me some time to get to 50. And then the second 50 was actually an amazing process. It it started to open my mind to new possibilities. I'm going to share my screen in a moment. I'm just pulling up the right thing. Okay, so here is, hopefully you guys can see this well. And I'll copy and paste this into our chat as well. And all of the leaders should be posting it to our threads also. So the first thing on this application criteria is to make a widen your reach business forward video. If you aren't familiar with widen your reach, then my suggestion to you, because of the time that we have today, is to reach out to your upline support and get more guidance on widen your reach. Essentially, it's going live on Instagram or making a story video and in some format of Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, social media, going public with your business or your health opportunity as well. But in this case, we're encouraging you to share your business story. And with widen your reach, you actually have the opportunity to get points for going public on social media by very easily in your back office submitting a screenshot of your post, whatever it may be. And the company will actually give you points that generate for your volume and help you earn more money. So you literally get paid to go public. And the idea with sharing your business story is to start to really develop our language of what we call leading with the business. So over the next 90 days, a main theme with this Unite to Rise container will be this idea of leading with the business. So not just sharing our superfoods with people, but really positioning ourselves to share this business opportunity with people and to recognize that that's actually one of the most valuable products that we have to share is the business op. So if you're brand new and you're like, oh my gosh, what is widen your reach? What even is my business story? That's all good. Again, just get in touch with whoever your support is, and we can help to shape something that maybe is more of a getting started post and talking about the business story that you want to write for yourself and the path that you're going to create for yourself. I love the Tony Robbins quote, like the conscious creation of our lives that we're going to make. And so just reach out for support as you need with that one. Number 2 is the list of 100 new prospects. So again, this is going to be a process. It's going to open your mind up and possibly confront you. 100 people might seem like almost near impossible. And I can tell you, it's going to open your mind to people that maybe you wouldn't have thought of. I know for me, I started to think about communities that I've engaged with and the places that I've lived. And in some of those ways of thinking was like, oh, wow, there's 5 people that just got added to my list because of a dance class that I used to go to. You know, and starting to think of this new ways of all the people that we've met in our lifetimes, and one person can lead to another person. And when we really sit down, and I suggest actually making, what I did was I put pen on paper and wrote out 1 to 100. So I had like 100 spaces to fill. And then it was fun. It kind of became a game of like, okay, I've got 60, I've got 70. And I just kept going. And sometimes then when I was doing dishes or cooking dinner, new names would come to me and I would go and add them to my list. And so opening up this idea of 100 new prospects, and do keep in mind, again, this idea of leading with the business. And if you had your ultimate dream team of people that you would have on this very Zoom connecting with us and building this mission, who are those people that you want to have here? And then we have, of course, as we do every single month, our action plan, which is a core foundational piece of building this business. Every month we put pen on paper and we get clear with our goals for that month. This business works week to week and month to month, and each month we have a new why and new goals. And so it's an opportunity to write down your why and get clear with your goals, and then share that business plan with your upline support so that we can support you guys in achieving whatever goals that you put pen on paper for. Then we also have the final step, which is tell us which regional event you'll be attending. We have a few exciting dates on the calendar in our various teams. I know there's going to be Carrie and Rita and Mary Beth, I believe, are hosting at the beginning of October at the Oasis, which is like the headquarters of Purium. And then myself and Rachel and Christina will be hosting a regional event and a full day of training, as well as a healthy happy hour here in Nevada City on October 14th through 16th. So I'm just going to go ahead and share a little save the date with you all for that. And I definitely encourage getting yourself to either of those events. Live events are pure magic. That is where so much of our team building and connection gets to happen. And we just really want to make sure that at some point in the near future, we get to gather in person and celebrate this beautiful mission that we're all on. So here is a save the date that you can also share with anyone that you would like to welcome to this Northern California regional event. And again, that'll be a Friday night healthy happy hour, followed by a Saturday full day of training, and then a Sunday fun day team building somewhere outdoors and beautiful. So there's our save the date. And then one last piece of just action items before we wrap up for today. Well, first of all, if there's any questions about the prerequisites, please go ahead and just drop it into the chat. And the final piece of completing your prerequisites will be posting your action plan and a picture of your list of 100 in your, whatever your unique group thread is, or your support page. So that's Bliss Ohana or Agents of Change. Again, for you brand new people, if you're like, what are you even talking about? You get in touch with your upline and we'll make sure that you know the right places to post things. And then once you have successfully done these prerequisites, then we, as your uplines, wherever you are in the organizations, because we have a lot of cross-team support happening here, we will add you to the Telegram feed. So the Telegram feed will be a closed container just for those of us that have gone through the application process. And then next week, our Zoom link will be a different link, and it will be really just a space for the people that are committed to run for the next 90 days. And I just want to tell you, like it was said in the beginning, I believe Rita said it, this is meant to be an alchemical process of transformation, of developing our business. And the idea is that who you are today and what your business looks like today is going to be a different version 3 months from now. Yes. That your business and your team and also your paychecks will be hopefully bigger and better. And all of the beautiful transformation stories that take place because of your willingness to serve, as Carrie so beautifully spoke about, will be just the most rewarding part. And so finally, to take us home, I want to invite all of you to a Friday business opportunity Zoom that we'll be doing, kind of a new format. We were going to call it the Millionaire Mom Movement, but we're not actually millionaires yet. And so we shifted it to Moms on a Mission. And this is going to be a business forward Zoom, just a 30-minute presentation with all of us here that are hosting the Unite to Rise container, where we'll be sharing our business stories and really opening up an opportunity for people. Anyone, of course, can be available to participate in this Zoom. And we are moms on a mission. And so we will be talking about this idea of empowering specifically women and mothers and the potential that that has, as was already spoken on this Zoom. As we empower women financially, there's such a cascade of benefits that happen there. And so this Friday, we're going to be gathering as moms on a mission and sharing the mission and vision of the work that we're doing with Purium. And it'll be live on Zoom, and it's open to everyone. So please don't only come yourself, but go ahead and promote this and get your teams there, get your prospects there, and it will definitely be a very high frequency event. So with that, we'll go ahead and wrap it up. It's 1:01 here in California, and I want to be timely with all of us. However, I will hold the line open. I'm going to wrap us up and close the recording. But for anyone that has questions about the prerequisites or any other questions pertaining to the content or comments or insights that you'd like to share, I'll keep the line open for another 10 minutes just to dialogue with anyone that feels called. But thanks again, everybody, for joining. This call was so great. I think we had like 68 people here at one point, and it would just be a dream to have this many of us going through the next 3 months together and really seeing some beautiful growth in our organizations. So thanks again, everybody, and aloha.